Hi, this is Brad Phillips, President of Phillips Media Relations and author of the Mr. Media Training blog. And in this video, I am going to tell you one of my favorite media training stories of all time. This is a true story as relayed to me by one of our clients, and he gave me permission to tell the story. But out of respect for him, I'm not going to tell you who he is or what he does, but I am going to tell you the story that he allowed us to tell. And this goes back several years to when John Stossel, the anchor, was the host of ABC's 2020. So this is the story my client tells. He sat down across from John Stossel to do an interview. And a couple of minutes into the interview, John Stossel, without warning, stands up and says, "You're boring!" And from that point on, my client tells me that Stossel does a 2 or 3 minute rant where he's red-faced, he's yelling, he's so angry that he has spit flying out of his mouth as he's talking. And the thrust of his comments was, everybody's media trained these days, nobody tells me what they actually think. He continues like this, like a crazy person, for several minutes, and then he says, "If we're going to do this interview, you're going to be interesting, and when we turn these cameras on, you're going to tell me who's getting screwed here. Got it?" And my client at this point, who is a little bit shell-shocked by having a nationally known anchor screaming at him, says, "Yeah, sure, whatever you want, that's fine." And I should also point out here that my client was pretty well seasoned with media interviews, so he's seen a lot, and he's pretty good, but that red-faced rant threw him. So the camera is turned back on, Stossel sits down and he says, "Tell me who's getting screwed here." And my client says, "I'll tell you who's getting screwed here, the American taxpayer, that's who." Well, guess what? When 2020 went to air a few weeks later, the beginning of the show was something like this. "Tonight on 2020, I'll tell you who's getting screwed here, the American taxpayer, that's who." So here's the lesson to take out of this. I don't think John Stossel was upset, not even for a second. I don't think he was out of control or lost his temper, not even for a moment. I think he was using a journalistic tactic to try to get a well-trained spokesperson off his message so that Stossel could get something more interesting and television-friendly, and he did. He won that battle between reporter and spokesperson. Here's why that's important for you to remember. The public will never see that red-faced, temperamental rant. They will only see when you lose control or give a dramatic soundbite, and that's what will be on television. The public will never see that you are kind of coaxed into doing that or prodded into doing it. So one of the things I say in media training sessions is the reporter's job is to beat you with a stick 11, 12 times, keep coming back to the same question and asking it of you in many different ways until he or she gets a response from you that works well for television. And your job as a spokesperson is to remember that your answer number 11 has to be as calm, cool, and collected as your answer number 1, because you don't know which one they're going to use. And chances are if you lose control or give something more dramatic in answer number 11, that's the one they're going to use. So this is just another journalistic trick that reporters use, and your job to win that exchange is to be as calm and in control at the end of the interview as you were at the beginning of the interview. If you like this video media training tip, please visit our blog for more media training tips. Our blog is at www.mrmediatraining.com. Thank you very much for watching.